Welcome to today's episode of Ask the Roofer. Today we're talking about insurance deductibles. Do homeowners really have to pay them? I hear homeowners talking about not paying their insurance deductible. I heard it a lot more after the last two storms we had. Do homeowners actually have to pay it? Why are they asking this question?
Well, they don't really have to pay it. We'll get into that, but I think it's as simple as people are just wanting to save money. You know, I remember being in high school, getting into a little fender bender. Someone hit me from behind. Insurance company just sent me like a $500 check or something, and I shopped it and got it done for $400. Put $100 in my pocket. Living large in high school for a few months. I think it's really the same thing. Insurance deductibles are $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. So homeowners are just looking to not pay more than they have to.
Where does that come into play?
Well, what happens is on a homeowner's policy, the homeowner will call in a claim, the adjuster will come out, they'll verify there's enough damage, they'll award the claim. They put it into their system and they say, okay, well this job is in Lafayette, so there's certain pricing for this market. It's different in Baton Rouge and in Lake Charles, and it's different in Birmingham than it is in Topeka, Kansas, different everywhere. It's very region specific. They'll determine the price of that job based on the region, labor rates, material rates, etc. So let's say the insurance company comes out and they say, well, this is a $15,000 roof. What they're gonna do is say, okay, here's $15,000 minus the, let's say, $2,000 deductible. And so the amount they're going to give the homeowner is $13,000.
That sounds great to me. They can go and find a roofer to do the job for $13,000 or less, right?
They can, and sometimes they do. The issue there is with, you know, there's a whole adage, you get what you pay for, right? So, you know, if the true market rate on a roof is $15,000 and you have a contractor that's doing it for $13,000, you can kind of sniff out where there could be some issues there. Now, I know what roofers pay for materials and what roofers pay for labor, right? We do a fair amount of volume in our market. Our material prices and our labor prices are going to be about as good as they can get because of the amount of volume that we do. So if anything, other roofers, they're paying the same, or they're paying maybe even a little bit more. So the only thing left to give there is profit margin. And in order for a business to be healthy, you have to have decent margins. And if you don't, you go out of business. It's pretty simple. It's why 4 out of 5 roofers don't make it to 5 years. They're not making enough money. And usually it's because they're doing things like selling jobs way too cheap, and they probably don't even realize that they're not making money. They think they made $1,000 on that job or whatever, but they don't know what their real operating costs are. So it'll weed them out over time. So the risk to the homeowner there is, well, you get discounted work possibly, you know.
So how does it work when someone hires Pelican?
What they'll do is, so the insurance company is typically going to give the proceeds out in 2 checks. So they'll issue an initial check right after the claim is awarded, and that'll be for, if it's a $15,000 roof, that's going to probably be around $5,000 or so. So if they hire Pelican, they're going to turn over that check along with the amount of their insurance deductible. The insurance company said it's a $15,000 roof. We're doing that job for $15,000. Not a discounted $13,000. So we need that deductible as a part of the total payment. That's the homeowner's responsibility. It's their only responsibility out of pocket. The good news for them is that $15,000 roof, they're getting it at an 85 to 95% discount because they're only paying that deductible. Now they've paid their insurance premium, so in a sense they've kind of paid for the roof, but that's their only out-of-pocket cost right then and there. So they'll hand over the first check and the deductible, and then whenever the job is completed, the insurance company will issue a final check to us, and that will complete the transaction.
Okay. Do homeowners ask you to cover the deductible?
Yeah. It's not uncommon. Usually there's another contractor in the area that's covering deductibles, or maybe they have a neighbor or family member or somebody they know that got their insurance proceeds and was able to get the job done for just that amount.
So while it sounds really good, it's risky.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's risky for the homeowner because the existence of that company is in jeopardy whenever they're not making adequate
sacrificing their profit
margins. And you have to ask yourself, if a contractor is willing to say sacrifice the money that they bring home that puts food on the table for their family, the people that they should care about the most, what might they be willing to do on your job to cut a few corners and take a few shortcuts to increase the amount that they can make on the job? So if they're not taking care of themselves, are they taking care of other people, is the question that we should be asking. Most of the time, no, and they go out of business. So it's risky for the homeowner, it's risky for the contractor, and really what a lot of homeowners don't realize is when a contractor is willing to cover a deductible, it's actually insurance fraud. You can go out of business for covering deductibles. And so, is that the kind of guy you want doing your job? If it's worth the risk to you to save $1,000 or so, then maybe that's your guy. But it's not how I would prefer to do business as a contractor as well as a consumer. It's just not worth it.
So you said some of these deductibles are $1,000, $3,000, could be more. What if homeowners can't afford this deductible?
That happens sometimes, especially from a hurricane, because those named storm deductibles are 2 or 3% of the policy value. And so, these might be $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 deductibles. And so sometimes we'll finance those for customers so that they don't have to wait another year to get a roof while they're saving up or whatever. So there's options for them there.
Okay. Is there any other information you want to share? Any tips for homeowners?
There's a misconception out there about how homeowners believe they will save money by not paying a deductible. And it goes like this. I mentioned earlier, the insurance company will issue 2 checks. It's rare. Sometimes they'll just issue 1 check and they'll say $15,000 roof, here's a $13,000 check because your deductible was $2,000, and then you can go and shop that. But that's not usually how it goes. The insurance company knows that if they give you that 13, you could just put it in your pocket. So what they do is they're gonna say, all right, I'm gonna give you about $5,000 up front. When that job is completed, I'm gonna give you another $8,000, but you're gonna have to turn in your invoice to me in order for me to issue that check. So what happens is the homeowner gets put into a position where they get their 5, they give it to the contractor. The contractor says, I'm gonna do the job for $13,000. They give the customer an invoice for $13,000. They turn that into the insurance company. The insurance company isn't giving them 8. They're gonna give them $13,000. They're gonna call that job a $13,000 job now, not 15. You only paid 13, your responsibility is a deductible. So they're gonna cut them a $6,000 check, and the homeowner still has to pay the $2,000 to the contractor. So now they did this workaround and they're trying to save money, but they got a discounted, cheaper job, and they still came out of pocket the exact same amount. Occasionally, a contractor will falsify an invoice for the customer and say, oh, wait, that was a $15,000 job. So they'll tell the customer, here, just turn this into the insurance company. They'll turn that in, insurance company will pay it out, and the contractor will tell the customer, just pay me $2,000 less than the invoice says, and we're good. It's insurance fraud. So it's just way too risky. Homeowners usually have no idea when they're asking a contractor that they're asking them to do this. Most contractors know, and it's not worth the risk. And sometimes in the end, you're going to end up with just a cheaper roof, and you're going to still pay that $2,000 out of pocket, unless you can get your contractor to lie and jeopardize the existence of his business for that one job.
It's not worth it.
No.
Yep. Awesome. If you have any other roofing related questions, check out our YouTube channel.